Ito ang Oragon Internet Television. Maaasahan sa balanced news in public affairs, education, music and information gamit ang mga bagong teknolohiya sa pamamahayag. Maaasahan sa katotohanan, kaagapay ng mamamayan sa pagkikipag-ugnayan sa pamahalaan. Oragon Internet Television Broadcasting.
Ito,
Magandang umaga po mga kaibigan. Sa Wednesday Roundtable Lido, pag-uusapan natin ang industriya ng pagmimina. Alam po naman ninyo, mahalaga rin ito sa ating lipunan, mahalaga rin sa ating kalakalan. And today, maganda po ang ating lineup ng mga resource persons. They come from all over. We're joined by the Undersecretary for Enforcement, Mining and Muslim Jim Sampulna. We're also joined by Attorney Ronald Residor, Executive Director of the Chamber of Mines of the Philippines. Si Sister Rosan Malin, Pangulo po naman ng St. Paul University sa Surigao. Si Engineer Luis Sarmiento, Pangulo, Corporate Secretary ng PIMSEA at Pangulo at CEO ng Apex Mining Company. Si Dr. Gabriel Pamintuan, former executive ng PNOC Exploration Corporation. Si Mines and Geosciences Director. Kasama po natin si Director Wilfredo Moncano. Si Ginoong Joey Aison, Pangulo ng Philippine Mining and Exploration Association. At si Mrs. Scarlett Gwen Facsoy, Ambassadress ng Yaman, Philippines. Marami ang mapapag-usapan ngayon sapagkat alam naman natin na itong industriyang ito ay bukod sa nagdudulot ng biyaya, may kontrobersya din. So we'd like to get a bird's eye view of the industry from Undersecretary Jim Sampulna. Mr. Undersecretary, how is the mining industry today?
Well, we're prospering and some problem actually dahil marami tayong na-encounter na problema along the way. I would like to by the way, I would like to thank this group for coming out with this kind of roundtable discussion. And gusto ko rin ipalam sa inyo na ang ating mining industry is our last card as far as economy is concerned. Yan na ito din ang pinakapag-asa natin kasi ang ating agrikultura na nakikita natin lahat, left and right, tinatamaan tayo ng problema sa agriculture. Itong mining industry, as we term it, we are pauper sitting on the chair of gold. We are not poor actually. The Philippines is not poor. Pero yun lang, kay marami masyadong matatalino dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, instead na magtulungan tayo, na paano natin paundarin ang ating ay lalo pa natin dinidiin ng industriya. Sana naman ay isipin natin na ito ay hindi para sa DNR, hindi ito para sa mga korporasyon, kundi ito ay para sa ating mahal na Pilipinas. Pero again, we are advocating responsible mining. Good.
Thank you very much. Opening statement pa lamang yan mga kaibigan. Si Attorney Ronnie Residoro, mula po naman sa Chamber of Mines. How is the Chamber of Mines? Yung activity ninyo noong Setyembre hindi natuloy. Paano ngayon? What will you be doing? Teka, nakamute ka pa yata. Sandali po. All right.
ayan.
Yan, good.
Sorry, nakamute pala ako. Tama ka, Carmelo, hindi natuloy yung annual conference namin nitong Setyembre, no? But and that will impact on future projects moving forward. But otherwise, the mining industry remains to be in a good position, no? Kasi if you look at the events that unfolded after March, makita natin that the mining industry responded well to this pandemic outbreak. Makita natin lahat ng mina, halos walang incidents of COVID within their communities. At malaki rin ang naitulong ng mga mining companies sa kanilang host communities in terms of assistance sa medicine, personal protective equipment, at yung tulong sa pagkain also, no? So I think si Director will have a lot to say about that dahil inisyatibo ng MGB yun, no? But yun nga, ang sa akin is parang of all these sectors in the economy, mining has proven to be rather pandemic resistant dahil companies are self-contained eh. Kaya naming mag-close off at mag-survive, and which is what we've shown in the last 6 months. In fact, if we look at the figures, parang maliit ang naging epekto ng pandemic sa production at sa exports.
Okay. Anonood sa atin. Can you give us a bird's eye view of how many people, how many Filipinos depend on the mining industry? Attorney Isidoro, gaano karaming mga Pilipino ang umaasa sa industriya ng pagmimina?
Well, if you look at the MGB figures, it says here ang employment in the mining and quarrying sector is at 184,000. But that's only yung mga direct. If we look at the indirect and the induced employment generated by mining, times 4 mo yan easily, no? I think there are experts here, si Dr. Pamintuan, who can give us better figures on that. But yun nga, unique ang mining industry in the sense na we don't operate in urban areas eh. We operate in the remotest areas and we provide employment, training, at saka capacity building for people that really need it. So we are uniquely situated talaga ang mining industry in terms of impact.
Very good. Maganda yan. Pero si Director Moncano, Director, nabanggit kasi ni Ron Residoro na you instituted some measures para makatugon doon sa problema ng COVID. Ano itong mga programang ito?
Well, good morning. Thank you, Melo. No? For the response to the COVID pandemic, the MGB issued a circular, memorandum circular on the minimum health costs that were to be followed by the mining companies while continuing with their mining operations. So meron tayong inisyo, and itong itong mga protocol, minimum health protocols naman conform with the IATF, Interagency Task Force na mga guidelines. So actually dynamic ito because every meeting yata, almost every meeting ng IATF meron konting changes doon sa mga guidelines. So dynamic din itong aming mga issue na circular. And at the same time, during the kasagsagan, nung kasagsagan talaga ng COVID, we thought that it's prudent and it's wise na yung SDMP funds namin, mining companies has Social Development and Management Program funds para ito sa host and neighboring communities. Pero dahil nga sa COVID, we thought na it was wise to realign these funds para itulong sa mga communities instead na gamitin para IEC, para sa information dissemination and other programs. Nag-issue tayo ng guidelines na ma-realign ito. At itong mining companies in totality committed total of, as far as my recollection is correct, so about 364 million pesos respect in total in terms of food packs doon sa mga communities affected, in terms of PPEs, in terms of support doon sa mga local medical practitioners, no, natin na ibigay ito ng mga mining companies doon sa kanilang mga host and neighboring communities. At meron din tayong mga laboratory, no? Anong tawag ito? Medical laboratory na nagtulong doon para mag-test ng mga COVID cases, no. So meron tayong mga naitulong na ito doon sa pandemic, and continuing naman ito, no, continuing ito. And right now we're thinking of the DENA Secretary together with the Secretary of Department of Finance is thinking of pushing for the industry to help in the economic recovery ng country, because alam naman natin na nangungutang ng ating bansa ngayon, nangungutang para doon sa support doon sa mga naapektuhang mga bayan, at lalo na ngayon na bibili ng vaccine para ma-cure yung ating or para magiging resistant yung ating mga residente. So mangungutang ulit tayo. So yung ating bansa mangungutang. So we thought, no, the Secretary Department of Finance would push for the mining industries aggressively para makatulong doon sa recovery ng ating economy.
Director, this very briefly. Kung yun ang layunin, magkaroon ng additional funds ang gobyerno para makatugon sa COVID-19, bubuisan ulit natin yung mga lehitimong minahan. Hindi kaya it's about time for us to focus on the small-scale mining na hindi naman small at mukhang mas malaki kita. Let's start with the good Undersecretary, Jim Sampulna. Yusek, have you considered that? Yes, please. Naka-mute po kayo. Sandali po. Yeah.
Maraming salamat po, Melo. Actually, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources at saka Department of Finance has requested Congress. So ang Congress naman ngayon ay, kasi di natin pwedeng palitan yung na nasabi doon sa batas ng pagmimina. Kundi papalitan natin, mag-amin tayo through batas na lang uli. So House Bill 6135 ang nakasala ngayon doon sa Kongreso. Hopefully the president will certify that as an emergency bill, an urgent emergency bill, para ito ay ma-fast track itong House bill na ito, increasing yung sasabi nating taxation ng ating mga mina. Ito ay nung ginawa ito ay nagkaroon tayo ng mga pagpupulong sa mga ating mga minero, at hindi naman po sila hindi naman sila nagreklamo. Ibig sabihin, they are supporting this. Hindi naman itong malaking pa natin ang ating ginawa. So sana ay ma-fast track ito ng ating Kongreso. Maayo naman, malalaki naman ang ating mga ng kita ng gobyerno.
Okay. Bago babalikan natin po 'yan, ano? Yung pusong minero ng PIMSEA, how far have you gone, Engineer Luis Sarmiento? Ano na po ang inyong activities? It's been said na yung pusong minero is always everywhere pag mayroong trahedya.
Good morning po, Camela, and good morning sa ating lahat. Nung pong, pusong minero po continues to be where the assistance is needed. So, yung huli po is in Mayon Volcano in last year, no? And ngayon we're trying to organize the water purifier that we have para naman sa Albay in coordination with Vocal Rolly Rosal to identify where to put it. So, yun po yung immediate response ng pusong minero. But as far as the pandemic is concerned, alam nyo po, all the mining companies had to revisit their own operating models after surviving the first pandemic, the first wave of the pandemic. And in a way, this also help us to strengthen yung ating pong safety and health protocols. And this also highlighted the importance of the mining companies' SDMP programs, that we can respond immediately to the community. So through the Pusong Minero of each mining companies po, we were able to deploy yung ating po mga medical teams, not only within the bounds of our mining operations, but also beyond the operating sites sa communities, putting up of isolation facilities, helping in the testing, and also most especially dun sa ayuda dun sa ating pong mga workers na hindi na po inabutan ng suporta galing from DOLE because of the difficulty of and the limited funding that they have. So tuloy-tuloy po yun. Yung pong Pusong Minero is already ingrained in all these mining companies. So automatic na po yun.
Okay. So at least nararamdaman yung ating mga kaibigan sa mining industry na umiikot sa mga lugar na kailangan sila, right?
Totoo po yan.
Good. Pagpapatuloy lang siguro yan. Pero let me ask the President of the Philippine Mining and Exploration Association, si Joey Aison. Joey, good morning and welcome aboard. Meron pa ba kayong mga exploration na nagaganap ngayon?
Okay, good morning, Melo. Good morning to everybody and to your listeners. Yes, in fact, there are a number of exploration companies going and people revisiting their prospects. We have a number of foreign companies looking into the Philippines right now. We believe that most mining companies have weathered the storm of COVID because let's face it, no, they are in remote areas. They can contain themselves, as what President Ron Residoro said, Director of the Chamber of Mines, and this provide employment to the countryside. So we're in a position to help the Balik probinsya of this government. And secondly, the metal prices have gone up, and so what most companies are doing now are revisiting their strategies in the light of COVID and how they can have a more positive impact to the host communities. And it's also a time for us to showcase that we can walk the talk, that we say that we are environmentally compliant. So it's now the time to show that we are able to deliver that, since we would be one of the industries that will really help provide revenues for this government in fighting COVID-19.
Yeah, Joey, pag binanggit kasi na Philippine Mining and Exploration Association, yung mga exploration ninyo limitado sa pagmimina o pati na yung petroleum natin?
Most of our companies are in the mineral exploration industry. Most of our members, we started as an exploration group, but a lot of our members have graduated to mining, so naging Philippine Mining and Exploration Association. And even the local companies, we know that most mining is really capital intensive, so we need foreign investments. So that's where we need foreign investments to help move the economy and start new mines. And they're looking at a lot of areas, and they know that the government is very supportive. I think they just are also waiting for some policy changes to further attract foreign investments.
Joey, kung hindi naman confidential, how much does it cost for a company? Let's say I have a company na gusto kong malaman kung meron diyang laman sa ilalim ng lupa. How much will it cost me to find out?
Well, for starters, the law requires that you have capitalization should be at least 100 million pesos. So yun na kagad yung yung basic, yung baseline mo na you should have a market capitalization of 100 million pesos. But that could go easily. In an exploration stage, you can spend 4 or 5 times that, no, before you even find something. And if you have an exploration play, 1 in 100 to become a mine, you're very, very lucky. So that's our batting average. So it's really capital intensive and requires a lot of technical and financial competence on the mining companies.
Do we have the people to do that?
the Philippines is very blessed with the technical capability. In fact, a lot of our mining engineers, geologists, and metallurgists are all over the world running and exploration and mining companies. So the Philippines is has a one of the countries with a high number of qualified technical personnel. And in fact, we are even improving our technical capability by updating our Philippine Mineral Reporting Code. It's a 2007 version. We're now upgrading to 2020 version, so that the technical competence of our technical guys are upgraded, and as well as the finance people, the admin come into the picture, so that it's a combined approach, so that everybody is well versed and informed of the mining industry.
Okay. Dr. Gabi Pamintuan Jr., welcome aboard. Can you tell us yung kakayahan ng Pilipino to go into exploration? You were also with the exploration team sa Malampaya, I recall. Good morning and welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Melo. Good morning, everybody. Pati sa mga listeners natin or viewers. Petroleum engineer din ako, mining engineer din ako. So, actually, in terms of technology for exploration, ando na tayo sa nasa world class yung ginagamit natin. Kasi, for example, the Malampaya project itself is a world class project. Andyan si Chevron, andyan si Shell. So similarly sa mining, ganun din. Because a lot of foreign companies want to invest. Siyempre, they'll come in using the most modern exploration techniques and technology and so on. So, hindi rin sinasabi na yung mga dito sa Philippines na nag-ooperate or nag-explore, yun din yung gamit natin eh. So, nasa front, I mean, in terms of standards, nasa world class tayo. So, hindi tayo naiiwan. But, again, importante na we also welcome yung mga foreigners kasi yung sabi nga ni Joey kanina, they have the technical and financial capabilities. But we're not that marami na rin Pilipino ang nag-i-invest sa mining. In fact, the mines that prospered yan. Pero we should still welcome yung mga foreign investors because we know that they come in with their experience and they're also willing to risk doon sa, kasi very risky ang mining sa petroleum eh. So, pag hindi tayo makapag-risk, we will need foreign investment.
Okay.
Because sila, mas marami silang pera, marami silang projects all over the world. So, pwede nilang dalhin as parang part of their portfolio. So,
Okay.
and alam nila na very rich ang Philippines, especially sa mineral.
All right. Pero mahalaga na meron tayong mga napapagsanayan ng mga estudyante. Si Sister Rosan Malilin is joining us from overseas. Nasa Surigao kasi siya. Sister Rosan, how is your school? Marami pa bang interesadong maging geologist? Paki-unmute po muna yan. Sandali po. Good. One more time. Oh,
Okay.
yan.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Melo. I should be back again here.
Of course.
Hindi mo ako nakakalimutan ha, pag mining pinag-uusapan. We are actually joined by I invited our Dean of Engineering there, who's in charge of the mining. Mining engineering is one of the programs under the engineering program. Yes, Melo, we still have a lot of students enrolled. We have contributed over the last 4-5 years already more than 100 licensed mining engineers from the university. Malaki ang interest ng mga bata kasi it's an local industry here and that they are very much supported by the different mining companies. Initially, most of them are scholars and they receive them through up to licensure. So I would say there is still a very high interest because of employability, and maybe not just employability, but the what we keep um, indoctrinating them into is um, being a Polinian mining engineer, carries with it the whole responsibility of stewardship. At yun ang talagang lagi namin inaano na we have a mission to really kind of introduce the values of stewardship in the industry. And that I know we have really enjoyed a lot of very good relationship with our mining companies here. They are very open to our visits whenever we want to see the place. And I must say, Melo, I've been here almost 10 years. This is my 10th year from the time I came, when I saw all that red mud from the long red mountain, I see less and less of that now because I see more green than red now. They have been greening the mountains. The brown mountains, the red mountains have turned green, at least yung mga mined out areas na. So I see, kasi nickel ito. I've not been very much into the gold industry. Alam ko, we have them here. You name it, Surigao has it. Yan ang yaman ng Surigao. Mabato talaga kami. We're not very agricultural. That is why I cannot encourage my students to go into agriculture very much because the livelihood is in mining. So we might just as well make use of the gifts that God has given for our people here, but do it responsibly as responsible stewards of His gifts for us. So as you say,
Yeah.
marami pa rin interesado, Melo, sa
Okay.
ano.
Mr. Rosan, you were once with NASA CBCP.
Yes,
Iba ang pananaw tungkol sa pagmimina.
yes.
Coming from your position, meron ba talagang responsible mining? Is there such a thing as responsible mining?
I have seen this develop, Melo. Uh, I know where I was coming from when I first came here. In fact, I came with a very negative attitude. Namana ko lang itong kurso na ito when I first came, kapapasok pa lang, kabubukas pa lang ng kurso. In fact, I was the first one who had to implement it now because my predecessor had the permit and there were a few students enrolled already. I had no choice but to let it go. But at that time, I was ready to close it na. I didn't even want to start it. Except that I had a very, very good dialogue with the mining industry. The Philippine Chamber of Mining came in, and we had a very good dialogue at that time. I just listened to them. I was very, very skeptic at that time that there is such a thing as responsible mining. But Melo, I must say, having lived here over this long time, I see that for whatever God gives us, if we responsibly use it. Hindi lang mining eh. We can abuse other gifts also. Kaya kung minsan, we just have to look at it from the point of view of responsible use of whatever God gives us. And I see this, if mining is really done with the same conscientiousness that I have seen over the years, nakita ko yung difference noon sa ngayon in terms of the practices, the and yung ano din, yung siguro yung mga estudyante din namin na-indoctrinate na namin na nandoon na sa field, they come every now and then. And they really tell me, sister, hindi namin nakakalimutan yun na ano talaga, kasi sabi ko, who will love the Philippines more than you? You have to take care of our gifts. Number one, I've come to accept that this is an irreversible industry. Hindi mo talaga maibalik yung natanggal na. Like the nickel natanggal na. Maybe it will take how many more years before that can again. No, pero while it is irreversible, we can make the most benefits out of what we get from it now. Not only in terms of jobs, but in terms of even greening the whole atmosphere and changing the whole environmental scenario. Na I keep telling myself, when I was going through that red mountain years ago in the beginning, they just remained red. If we did not touch it at all, and we just simply said no to mining completely, that mountain would still be red up to now and brown. Now I see the transformation where it is green. It's really forested green now. So I see na meron din palang uh, pinag-develop nun na kabutihan ng tao. It did not only provide jobs. Now with the green environment around, natatamnan na ngayon. I still have my cautions though in terms of yung Red Sea. Uh, Medyo hindi na gaano yung Red Sea ngayon kasi pag nagtra-transfer sila ng red ore into those barges, the sea turns red yung sa shore. But now that there is less of that because I think there's more of technology now being employed. There has been also a lot of consciousness on the part of our own people there na talagang protect our environment. That's what I can say.
Maganda yun na banggit nyo, no? Pero siguro babalikan ko lang yung enforcement. Mr. Undersecretary Jim Sampulna, sa inyong trabaho sa enforcement, what have you noticed? Are mining companies compliant with your standards?
So far kasi bago pa ako dito sa DNR, sa taas, yung napuntahan ko ng mga mining company naman katulad ng sabi ni sister kanina, nag-iba na ngayon ang kuwan dahil dati-dati ang mga mining company natin is after exploiting, iniiwan na lang. Ngayon, sigurado na tayo meron silang pang-rehabilitate dahil meron na silang rehabilitation fund. So, ngayon nakatutok tayo, karamihan ng mga mining company ngayon, ang ginagamit nilang rehabilitation ngayon ay yung BEMBO, no? They are compliant actually. Hindi naman pwedeng pagkatapos natin ng pagbubungkal ng lupa na yan, i-rehabilitate natin. We have to come out first with the output. Pagkatapos na yun, nagre-rehabilitate naman yung mga ating mining company.
Yeah.
So far, yes.
Good. Mabuti po kung ganun. Kung yung addict na, nare-rehabilitate, yung pa kayang pinagminahan, ano?
In fact, Melo, nagre-reklamo na yung mga mining company dahil yung bembo daw, maraming ahas. Sabi ko, yan ang maganda dahil ibig sabihin ng biodiversity ay bumabalik ka sa ating kapaligiran.
Very good. Very encouraging, ano? We have with us si Scarlett Gwen Facsoy, coming all the way from Benguet. Magandang umaga sa iyo. Hello, Scarlett.
Okay, so hi, good morning everyone. Thank you, Sir Melo, for having Yaman Philippines on your screen.
Yeah, tell us about Yaman Philippines. What is it?
Yaman Philippines is actually a youth organization. It actually aims to lead the transformation of youth for the promotion of responsible mining and protection of natural resources. So we are actually in partner with PMSEA, wherein we promote the Pusong Minero, aiming to promote the uniting all people who supports the mining industry under one banner. We want to show that the good side of the mining industry. Right now, what's happening in social media, in the digital world right now, with the tap of a hand, we can search the right information with only a few taps. And what we are aiming for is to negate the proliferation of the black propaganda right now na natatabunan kasi yung mga good news about mining ngayon. Yung parang kapag naririnig nila yung mining, parang sinasabi nila ay mali ang mining or dapat itigil na lahat ng pagmimina. Pero hindi nila alam yung mga advantages and mga tulong talaga ng mga mining companies. At yun yung aim ng Yaman organization, to promote good things about the mineral industry.
Yeah, very good. Congratulations. Maganda yan ang ginagawa ninyo sapagkat at least merong platform to inform the general public of what's going on. Maganda yan, that will encourage more discussions. All right. Sister Rosan, sino yung sabi mong dean na kasama ninyo ngayon?
Si Engineer Gilalas. He is now in his desk. Engineer Gilalas is the dean of mining engineering, and mining engineering is under him. Angelus, are you there yet?
Yeah, I see him here.
Yeah.
Ano yung karaniwang motivation ng mga bata? Bakit sila pumapasok sa mining education? Dean?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, good morning, Sir Melo. Good morning po sa lahat.
Oo.
I think po yung isa sa mga motivation po ng mga bata to enroll in this mining engineering is aside from the grants na binibigay po ng mga mining companies, from different mining companies, one talaga is gusto silang makatulong po sa community nila. Aside from siguro primarily concern po nila is yung mga family nila, kasi lahat po naman ng halos po ng mga scholars po ng mining company is hindi naman po talagang mayayaman ng mga students. So isa sa yan is yung family. Then pangalawa po is yung makatulong po sa pag-develop po na sinasabi natin na responsible mining. In fact, idagdag ko lang po sa mga na sinabi ko ni Sister, isa po dyan na makikita natin na po sa responsible mining is that there is an active collaboration of the mining companies, from different mining companies in the academy in doing research. So isa po sa mga ito is like, for example, like yung dust suppressions. So kasi alikabok. So isa po yan sa mga ginagawa. So yan, siguro yan po yung nagiging motivation nila. So yan po.
Maganda yun. Pero yung mga estudyante nyo, alin na mas marami? Babae, lalaki?
For mining, marami pong lalaki po. Kunti lang po yung mga babae.
Pero may mga babae na rin.
Yes. Different po noon kasi pag sinabi nating engineering, kunti lang po yung mga babae. Now, I think mga almost half of the population, I think mga 1/4 siguro or almost half is mga babae.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Ron, would you care to react yung mga research na ginagawa ng mga estudyante? How can the Chamber of Mines, and then later on sa BIMSEA, how can you support such researches?
Ay, magandang tanong, Camelo. No? Ibalita ko rin lang sa lahat ng mga nanonood. We in the chamber are currently working with PSHERD, the Innovation Commission ng DOST. No? The DOST actually has a program called Cradle where pinagmamatch niya yung industry at research. No? So halimbawa, ang isang industry like mining has a unique technical problem, minamatch ni DOST yung kumpanya with a researcher who can now find a solution for the mining company. Tapos ang pondo nanggagaling sa DOST significantly, no? So katulad nga ng nasabi ni Dean kanina, pinakamalaking problema ng mga mining industries, ng mining companies ngayon ay siltation, water quality maintenance, air pollution,
yung alikabok.
Alikabok, no? So si DOST, ang nagawa niya for us ngayon ay napag-match niya kami with these research institutions tulad ng St. Paul at ng Southern Philippines, the University of Southern Philippines, even the University of the Philippines in Los Baños, na karamihan ng mga researchers nila at scientifico ay bihasa sa area ng siltation, dust suppression, erosion control, at saka biodiversity. No? So napakagandang development. This year, I think 2 kumpanya ang na-match namin with their respective research institutions. And we hope to progress this further dahil marami pang areas where we can collaborate, tulad ng improving productivity. There is a proposal now to equip all miners with RFID chips para ma-measure mo ang kanilang productivity. There is a proposal now to use drones para alam mo kung at any given instance kung nasaan ang iyong mga truck in the field. No? So wala kang nasasayang na oras sa paghahanap. Nasaan na ba yung truck ko? Paano ang turnaround? Gaano kabilis ang delivery? Etc. So these are technical problems that require a technical solution, and it's a great partnership, I have to
Good.
say.
Very encouraging. Engineer Luis Sarmiento, you're the corporate secretary of PIMSEA at the same time with Apex Mining. How do you look at this collaboration between the academe and the industry?
Camelo, it's good that nandyan si Scarlett, no, representing Yaman Philippines. If you remember, we started with the Student Congress way back in 2015. Precisely, the objective is also to uplift the situation of the students and make sure that they will be ready when with the new technology coming in for the mining industry. So tuloy-tuloy po yon. Now they call it Yaman Philippines. Yung mga mining companies are into it already in terms of technology. Especially with this pandemic, sabi ko nga po, mining companies had to rethink yung kanilang operating models on how to observe itong mga protocols. So, for example, in terms of technology, we're already partnering with universities. In the case of Apex, we have a memorandum of agreement with the University of Southern Philippines. Ito po yung host namin na university sa Davao that we go through research and development, and we provide all the technology and the softwares for the students to use. At the same time, ito pong mga mining companies, Apex for example, is also looking at the technology in terms of yung mga remote operations ng mga bagong technology like yung drone, yung mga monitoring ng mga equipments underground. We're already into it. So yun po, tuloy-tuloy. And again, this is where the students comes in. This is where the millennials comes in, because they're very good at this yung technology. They're very good at using computers and programs. So if you look at the demography ng mining industry, it's either yung nasa top mga above 60s, and then very few dun sa middle management, and doon sa baba, ito na yung ating mga millennials. That's why ang trust of the PMCA was really to support the students so that by the time they graduate, they will be ready with the technology, with the conditions that they will expect in the mines. And I'm happy to report that even in Apex, we employ a lot of mining geologists, metallurgical engineers na babae, and they're really performing very, very well.
Okay, very encouraging. Let me pose this question to Dr. Pamintuan at kay Joey at kay Attorney Mocano. Yung po bang tungkol sa technology, how has technology evolved and assisted the mining industry, particularly exploration and the like? Gabi? How has technology evolved?
Yeah, maybe I'll start with actually yung modern mining technology was brought to us or introduced to us by the Americans. Remember, Baguio grew out of the mines, pero yung mga naunang, mga pioneers dyan, mga Amerikano eh. So eventually na kumalat na yan from pumunta ng Visayas, Mindanao. Pero in terms of technology, sabi ko, Philippine mining, really the big ones, are modern, world-class yan, mga ISO, certified lahat yan. In fact, nangunguna pa nga yung mga mining companies in terms of programs like sustainability beyond ISO. Sabi ng sustainability planning, mapping, and so on. So, hindi lang doon sa technology mismo, but how you measure your performance ng technology. So ISO is actually just documenting everything that you do. Pero
Yes,
yun na nga,
yeah.
karamihan or halos lahat nag-ISO na. And sabi ko nga, beyond ISO pa yan. Because when you're already talking about sustainability, mapping, and planning, andun ka na sa abanteng yung mga nauuna sa in terms of world standards.
Yeah.
So, sabi ko, we're modern, we're world class.
Good.
Especially the big ones. So
The big ones.
The small scale is another animal or story.
I like your term, huh? Your thoughts about technology and its influence in exploration. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
well, technology has really contributed to exploration. Like a lot of people now do remote sensing, so they can limit the areas wherein they want to start exploring. So madali na. Instead of looking at a bigger area, you have a reduced area to look at kasi remote sensing has signatures of mineralization which they have studied through the years. Safety concerns sa mga tao natin sa field because we now have cell phones, we now have other tracking gadgets so we can track them, and even our medical facilities so we can easily help if an accident happens in the field. Computer software have helped prepare mine plans unlike before na talagang mano-mano, so the old mining engineers would know of that. So what else? Drilling, so we have a deeper drilling capacity, biodegradable muds and fluids, so environmentally friendly. So all of these things have contributed to help exploration and mining actually a lot better compared to the old times. No?
Yeah, the old times. Yeah, Director Fred Moncano, please, your thoughts about technology and the industry. Sandali po. Yeah, paki-unmute muna. Oops. Yeah.
Yes. Technology has really evolved, no, and contributed to the modernization of the mining industry. And as far as kami, I'm also a mining engineer, no. Being aside from being a lawyer, I'm also a mining engineer. Noong kapanahunan namin, if we compute for area, kailangan namin ng pantograph at yung mga instrument na mano-mano talaga. Pero ngayon, computer na, bibilis, no? I have to admit, hindi ko na masundan yung aming mga millennials, no? Hindi ko na masundan yung paano nila kinumpute, no? May mga three-dimensional, na sila, mga features ng computer. Madali na mag-compute ng mga reserve, paano mag-compute ng mga resources, no? So technology has helped, and also in the fairly recent period, siguro mga last 30-20 years, no, itong mga other mineral commodities na nasa ating mga mineral resources like sa nickel, for example, wala noong una, mga 1930s, 1940s, hindi pa na-discover yung mga rare earth minerals eh. Very global yung mga minerals na yun, but because of technology, andyan na-discover na yan, at it's being used, very useful for the aerospace, para sa mga electric vehicles. No? So technology has helped a lot. But sa amin naman, in the part of MGB, meron naman kami collaboration also with the DOST because ang aming gustong tutukan for the Philippines especially, tayo lang isa tayo sa mga mineralized countries that do not have an integrated steel industry, no? Integrated steel mills, wala tayo eh. Nasimula nito in 1970s ni President Marcos pero nawala. So ayan na ngayon ang focus namin ng aming programa, exploration ng mga strategic minerals to establish the integrated the steel industry of the country. So nagko-collaborate kami with the Department of Science and Technology para maka-recommend technology na medyo bago at pwedeng ma-adapt ng ating mga nasa minahan because we have a lot of material na pwedeng fuel o feed doon sa mga planta na ito, no. So sa norte meron tayong mga mag-detach na marami. Sa Leyte, marami tayo. So we're focusing on that, in collaboration with the Department of Science and Technology.
Very good. Let me pose this question to anybody who can answer. Si Malu Mariano is watching us from the United States. In case of mining accidents, are the companies adequately trained to address mining collapses and attend to trapped miners? I need a volunteer from the panel. Can PIMSEA or Chamber of Mines lead in answering? Yes, Louis.
Camilo, as you know, yung ating PMCA hold an annual event sa Baguio. This is like a mini Olympics for the mining industry. Precisely because yung mga teams would like to gauge their skill and capability with other teams as part of their readiness. Kasi ginagawa naman nila to on a regular basis sa kanilang mga kanya-kanyang sites. But this is a gauge of how they perform and how they react to certain emergency situations. So tuloy-tuloy po yun. And in terms of capability, and in terms of additional and modern equipments available now, so talagang very capable ang ating mga search and rescue teams of each responsible mining companies to respond to any emergencies. Kaya nga po at times na nire-request pa tayo dun sa ibang mga lugar, sa mga cities, especially during times when nagkakaroon ng earthquake and dun sa mga collapsed structures, because that's precisely the expertise of our search and rescue.
Okay, Gabi, Dr. Pamintuan, yes, please. You'd like to say
So
something?
Melo, remember in one of your roundtables nung nasa tayo somewhere in Boulevard, when we talked about disaster preparedness.
Yes.
Nasabi kasi that the mining industry has trained around 10% of its manpower. It varies among companies, pero they are either mine rescuers, first aiders, firefighters, and so on. So any event, incident that happens within the mine or even outside, ready yung mga company para mag-respond. So,
okay.
Nabanggit ko rin dati yung sa big earthquake ng Baguio. Most of the rescuers then came from the mining companies.
Yeah. Ron, Isidoro from Chamber of Mines, yes?
Oh, I would re-echo yung mga nasabi ni Doc Gab at saka ni Louie, mining companies talagang overly prepared for disaster kasi nga the nature of the work is already very dangerous, and we always have first aid teams on standby ready to assist and to rescue. That's very unique for the mining industry. In fact, sabi nga ni Louie, we have an annual event every year where mining companies showcase their readiness for any and all disasters that can happen at the mine. But when it comes to the larger accidents like dam failures and the like, I think that with recent technology at saka regulation na rin, mining companies are better prepared also to handle these events.
Okay. That's good.
So yun po.
Ron, ganun din kay Director Moncano at kay Yusek. Why is it that mining is always associated with Marinduque, with Marcopper? Why is it? Why is it so? Yeah.
I would answer first. No, let me trace back a few years. No, actually, mga 50 years ago. No, 50 years ago, the Mining Act before that time do not contain provisions for mining companies to provide funds for mine rehabilitation. No. And walang provisions doon, unlike today na first year pa lang ng commercial extraction mo, you already pay on installment basis yung final mine rehabilitation decommissioning fund. So nung nangyari yung aksidente sa Marcopper, hindi ito kaagad na address because yun nga who will provide funds, no? At hanggang ngayon, actually, the MGB provides fund every year para may mga rehabilitation measures kami magagawa. But it's not as big because alam mo naman yung pera sa gobyerno hindi gano'ng kalaki. So, yun ang problema. So, it remained a parang symbol nung tawagan namin nung sins of the past because yung mga ganitong mga insidente hindi na aksyonan at hindi na correct, no? Because yun nga it was partly because there was no legislation before, and partly there was no requirement for mining companies to provide funds, and yung standard, we didn't have any standard for what will be like. Ngayon, meron tayong standard for dam construction. It should be at least intensive na mga earthquake yung ating standard. And meron tayong mga parameters na i-implement. No? So, yun ang problema. Makikita pa kasi ngayon, andyan pa rin yung problema sa markup. Hindi pa natin po completely naayos. No? Kaya, palagay ko yun ang rason bakit ma-relate nila ang mining industry to the markup failure.
Okay. Sister Rosan, coming from the church, no? What could be done to prevent such conditions?
Bantay talaga, vigilance. Melo, I must say, we cannot rest complacent. We have to be vigilant. At saka, education. Kaya ako na continuous awareness building on the part of our people. Not only those who are in formal school, but the community at large. Talagang kailangan bantayan. Kasi although we say there's a lot of technology and that, at saka yung openness din ng mining industry to dialogue with their community. I-explain sa kanila ano mga hazards, ano yung mga safety nets nila, yung mga ganun ba. So that the whole issue, if the industry is very transparent about what it's doing, and it's really doing a lot of good for the community from how I look at it most of the time. So siguro, we cannot rest complacent. The general public should always know what's going on. And that way, we can, we are dealing with intelligent people and people who can really make decisions. So, hindi natin pwedeng isatabi lang yon.
Okay, good. Undersecretary, your thoughts, please.
Yeah. Kaya sumikat masyado yung Marinduque na yan. I mean, Mark Cooper na yan yung sinasabi mo kanina. The director said it all, ano? Wala pa tayong mining rehabilitation fund. At saka di pa natin. Kaya siguro, yun ang pinakasikat na mining company before. Kaya lahat nakatutok lahat doon sa Mark Cooper. But anyway, going back to the readiness, kanina tinanong mo kanina, when I was the regional executive director in Davao, nagkaroon ng landslide sa Pantukan Mining Company. And I was surprised that people from Baguio came in. Pumasok yung taga Baguio, taga other companies na tumulong doon sa Pantukan. So, I see, kung wala sila doon, walang ma-recover na body doon during that landslide. These are mining sites na nagkaroon ng landslide. So, I think we are ready as far as itong wala natin sa mine safety is concerned.
Good. Very nice. May mga binanggit si Director mong kanina na napakahalaga yung steel industry. Liliwanagin ko yung steel industry na binabanggit niya, ang spelling S-T-E-E-L. Hindi S-T-E-A-L. Iba yun. Talagang meron magkasintunog. Pero magtungo tayo sa ating kasama si Scarlett. Scarlett, sa Yaman, Philippines, what are you doing? What are your programs?
Hello. Yes, we currently are planning this a donation drive. It is a project of the Yaman, Philippines, entitled Pusong Minero para sa Bicolano. It is in collaboration with the Philippine Mine Safety and Environment Association. Our goal is to help families affected by Super Typhoon Rolly, which hit the Philippines last November 1. Ezekiel, one of our officers in Yaman, actually have a contact in Albay, that is Sir Owen, the advisor of the official high school publication of St. Agnes Academy in Legazpi City called the Agnition. So Yaman, Philippines wants to help those who are heavily affected by the typhoon. So we thought, paano kaya kami makakatulong? Luckily, we were able to have a contact person for any donations. So maybe later we will be posting on our Facebook page, IG, and Twitter some account details of the donation drive, and we are encouraging everyone to help these people who are heavily affected by this typhoon. These families are actually those who lost their homes, mga natabunan ng laharang bahay, or their homes were destroyed by the strong wind and heavy rain. Tapos we were informed na talagang walang-wala sila, and their very essential need is construction materials and the like for them to start over.
Good. Pero nabanggit mo yung nangyari sa Bicol. Alam ko, fresh from Legazpi City, si Director Wilfredo Moncano. Can you please update us? I know you did something there and you did something good for and on behalf of the Philippine government. Tell us more about this.
Yes, I was with Undersecretary Leonardo last week, starting Thursday up to Monday madaling araw. We were there. We had to organize 8 teams, 8 teams yon. Each team is composed of at least a geologist, a mining engineer, and PBOS is a member, DPWH is a member, LGU is a member, the DNR is a member, EMB is a member, no? So 8 team yung organize natin. We provided them with the drone instruments para doon sa pagtunog area. And then itong mga we provided also logistic no sasakyan para sa pag-ikot nila at papunta doon sa mga lugar na tamaan ng lahar, no? And although it might be early for me to say, but meron na kaming theories what were the cause of deaths and damages doon, inundation ng mga bahay, no? Mayroon na kami mga theory, but hindi ko muna sasabihin because merong administrative at criminal, baka lang may criminal side yung aming tinitingnan. So ayaw lang muna nating sasabihin, but we already did and continue. I think by up to Sunday this week matatapos yung field survey, field assessment, and then after that there will be report writing. Actually, this report will be provided and will be submitted to the Office of the President because Office of the President na nag-request na ma-imbestigahan yung nangyari doon. So, but malaking pinsala talaga. Yung mga dikes na supposedly to contain the materials na mag-flow from the Mayon volcano na sira yung mga dikes. And actually, nag-survey kami on Friday morning, meron kaming we advise DPWH, maraming tulay doon na threatened by the lahar flow also because napuno na yung tulay at abot na yung silt material doon sa flooring ng tulay, and one more baha, one more ulan ng malakas, baka pati yung tulay masisira. So in-advise namin yung DPWH na alisin na yung mga material na malapit doon sa tulay para hindi naman madala at magiging inaccessible yung lugar, no? So yun ang natin, and continue pa rin yung investigation. We hope na we can submit the report to the President next week.
Yeah. Director, without necessarily putting the cart before the horse, may commercial value ba yung lahar? Dahil sa baka kailangan i-convert sa dolomite yan para mabenta, ano kaya?
Actually itong material, itong lahar na nag-flow doon ay ito yung mga ginagamit doon sa construction diyan sa Bicol, sa Cebu. Maraming pinupuntahan itong mga lahar na yan. But unfortunately yung demand, yung ang tawag ito, yung rate of extraction ng material hindi masapatan, yung pag-flow bigla na like for one river channel, we estimated about 400,000 cubic meters ang biglang nahulog doon sa lugar. And ang demand ng aggregates doon sa Bicol is about 3-4 million cubic meters a year lang. So sa isang lugar lang mismo, hindi nila maubos-ubos lang. Sa isang baha lang yun, isang baha. Hindi nila maubos kahit isang taon nila bubunuin yun para malinis. So I don't know, malaking trabaho talaga. DPWH will be will have a lot of work. Kami we're thinking also of recommending relocation talaga ng mga bahay because may mga bahay na nandoon sa danger zone. So Isa yun sa mga tinitingnan naming recommendation doon sa magiging report namin to the Office of the President.
Good. You know, Director, if I remember it right, it was in 1981, nagkaroon din ng lahar flow. At nakita pa sa pelikula yung nyog na dala-dala ng lahar. At ito nangyari sa Barangay Mabinit sa Legazpi City. Pero wala pa nagkakwari noon. It could be really a phenomenon from Mayon Volcano na pag nagkaroon ng deposits, dadalhin yan pababa. Dadaus-dus yan pag tuloy-tuloy ang ulan. Siguro it's about to look into a serious a recommendation to seriously relocate people.
Yes.
Para hindi na tayo magagastusan. And one thing is sure, we can also have something productive doon sa mga iiwanang lupa nitong ating mga kababayan. Magandang pag-usapan nito, Director. I'm sure hindi pwedeng gawing subdivision yan. Kaya okay lang. And
Ladies and gentlemen, we now conclude another day of broadcasting activities. You have been watching to this virtual broadcast station, Uragon Internet Television Broadcasting, a commercial non-stop virtual broadcast station through Facebook and YouTube. Registered with business name number 1909782 by the Department of Trade and Industry, and authorizing to operate until July 2, 2025. Uragon Internet Television Broadcasting is now signing off.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang bihirang, tuyang ka ng magiting, sa manluluping, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatang tutong sa simoy at sa langit mo pag-round, ay hiragang tulang.